Tucker? Good question, Clayton. Thank you. When it comes to passing certain laws and policies, President Obama doesn't always feel it necessary to get the support of Congress.
Frankly, sometimes I just can't wait for Congress. It just takes them a long time to decide on stuff. We're going to take action on proven ideas to upgrade our schools that don't require Congress. Congress didn't get its act together. So where I can act on my own, I'm going to. I'm not going to wait for Congress.
What would past presidents think about this strategy, especially Abraham Lincoln, who the president has long touted as his hero? Joining us now is Georgetown University Law Center professor and senior fellow in constitutional studies at the Cato Institute, Nicholas Quinn Rosencrantz. Professor, thanks a lot for joining us.
Great to be with you.
The president self-consciously modeled himself on Abraham Lincoln, who himself has been criticized by many historians for his authoritarian impulses, suspending the writ of habeas corpus, declaring martial law in Washington. How do you compare the two?
Well, President Lincoln was faced with incredible constitutional exigencies. So it was an extremely difficult situation, obviously, when he arrived in Washington in 1861. If ever there was a time to bend the Constitution that a president would be tempted, that was the time.
When the country's splitting in half.
Exactly.
Right.
And yet, Lincoln went way out of his way to try to comply with the Constitution to the extent possible, and to bring Congress into his various actions to ratify them.
Right.
And President Obama's action reminded me of this by contrast. So President Obama doesn't seem to want to bring Congress into this process. He's wanting to act unilaterally like Lincoln did, but not actually get the support of Congress.
So not, and also not acting out of a crisis of the magnitude of the Civil War.
Well, exactly, of course.
So, but the president's complaint is one that we've heard from many presidents, I think, through history, which is Congress is getting in the way of my agenda, and the people have supported my agenda. They voted for me. Therefore, I'm going to ignore Congress.
Well, it's a particularly ironic criticism here because actually the House of Representatives has already passed a bill that would do exactly what President Obama wants to do, which is suspend this important piece of Obamacare.
Right.
So you would think the president would welcome that support from Congress, and yet he's actually insisting on doing this unilaterally rather than waiting for the bill and signing the bill. He's threatened to veto it.
Do you think he, more than other presidents, is ignoring the other branches of government, and does it make you nervous?
It does make me nervous, actually. I don't think he takes separation of powers quite as seriously as some other presidents have, and I think he does have a tendency to overstep the executive power. The executive power in this country is vast, but there are limits, and he does not seem to take them as seriously as he should.
The irony is that he was billed from day one as this brilliant constitutional scholar who actually taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago. Mm-hmm. Are you surprised?
You know, I am a bit surprised. I really would have hoped that on some of these crucial points he would have stuck to constitutional principles.
You think he doesn't understand or doesn't care?
You know, I don't know the answer to that, but it does make me nervous either way.
So just very quickly, I just want to go through a couple of the examples that you've referred to. Changes to the health care law without approval, suspending those penalties, ordering cell phone taxes, overruling Congress on the drug war sentencing, disregarding the Constitution on immigration. The DREAM Act basically just says, I want this to happen, and it's going to happen.
So the Constitution says that the president shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. And it's a hugely important provision. That is what binds the president to follow the law, essentially. Yes. Take care that the laws be faithfully executed. And if Congress has passed a law that is not in every detail the way the president would like it, he nevertheless has a duty to enforce such a law. Now, he has lots of discretion about how to do it and lots of discretion about setting different priorities, but he does not get to say unilaterally, I don't like this law, and so I'm not going to enforce it.
I don't like this law, but that's basically what he said.
As to an aspect of Obamacare, for 1 year, he said, this is inconvenient for me. We don't have the bureaucratic resources.
What about all the liberals who got upset about President Bush expanding executive authority? Where are they?
I agree with you. We haven't heard much from them. You know, you would think on a case like this that Democrats also would be up in arms. Democrats love their Obamacare, and Republicans care about this constitutional principle.
Right.
You'd actually think there'd be bipartisan outrage about this, but at least the Democrats in the Senate seem to be quiet about it.
Democrats used to go on about the Constitution and how important it was. I miss those Democrats. Professor, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be with you.
Appreciate it.